Hello everybody. I made a claim some time ago, I can't quite remember when, that they would never ever make a Gem and the Holograms movie. And what did they do? They went ahead and proved me wrong. Now, because this actually happened, I am just about to head to the theater to go and pay money out of my own pocket to go see this G-rated family film at 9:30 p.m. It's going to be very interesting. I'm going to try and use my phone as kind of a immediately after the movie kind of review thing, and maybe a little bit before. And then I'll come back here for maybe a more fleshed out review. But until then, here's hoping it's worth it. Hello. Can I get one for Gem and the Holograms?
I'd like to. Yep. And do you have a SIM card?
I do. Yep, Gem and the H. Exactly what I asked for. Okay. Where do I begin? Seriously, I don't know where to begin with this movie. So, this girl, Jerica, played by, I don't know, somebody who I have no idea or don't even recognize, decides that maybe she wants to become a singer. Well, I guess her whole little family, including her sister Kimber, the adopted daughters is Aja, Sasha. Anyway, this girl, she has trouble actually performing in front of people, you know, one of those things. I'm so shy and I'm so she secretly decides to dress up in a bunch of 80s looking garb and perform in front of a camera, much like I'm doing right now. But at this last moment, she decides she wants to erase it because, I don't know, she's so self-conscious about everything. What she doesn't know is her sister was listening the entire time and posts it on YouTube. Then suddenly, boom! Big fame. Lots of fame. YouTube fame. Internet fame. Out of seemingly nowhere, this woman named Erica, who's the leader of Starlight Records, just pulls up to their door and offers her and her sisters a contract, even though it was only her in the video. Go figure. But the thing is, Erica, the head of Starlight Records, actually wants to keep the whole Gem persona, because in the video, Jerica dresses up and kind of disguises herself and calls herself just Gem, which is what her father used to call her. Like, you're my little Gem. And speaking of her father, who is dead, by the way, apparently he was an inventor and he has this weird little robot thing that never worked or turned on, made a sound, even functioned as a paperweight. And this is going to be some useless MacGuffin. I know that sounds weird, but stick with me. So anyway, we got Erica. She wants to keep this whole mystery thing because, you know, it's like it can become the latest sensation. Who is Gem? Who are her friends? Who is the band? It's just this whole conglomeration of insanity and internet mystery. So anyway, suddenly it seems the entire family, all the daughters, are whisked away to Starlight Productions, where they get new clothes, new instruments, and probably new personalities. Because Erica is here and now and wants something fresh and new and fun. None of these things you're going to find in their personality. Keep in mind, this band is already somehow popular and they have never performed live, never released any videos. It's just that one little internet video of Jerica playing a little guitar and singing very sweetly to seemingly nobody. But whatever. Movie! So, this robot thing I was mentioning, as the sisters are traveling to Los Angeles, where Starlight Records is, where they used to live, mind you, with Kimber and Jerica's father, the robot thing starts to activate and light up, and it's also midnight, and they're supposed to have a curfew of midnight for some reason. Now keep in mind, they have their own studio and their own rock star bedroom that needs to be closed off by midnight, their curfew, and that's when the robot starts going crazy. And they discover that there are pieces missing, and there are clues to which they need to find out where the missing pieces are to bring it all back together. Where did this come from, the movie? I thought this was about a band, not some mysterious weird robot thing. By the way, there are these earrings that Jerrica had that her father gave her, but they seemed a little old, I don't know, a little dated, so Erica decided to keep them in her possession in the meantime. Don't worry, we'll get back to that. Squeaky chair. I'm wearing a hat now. So somehow it's a little fuzzy, but through some weird kind of help me Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope kind of thingamabob, the robot tells them that somehow they need to go to the pier where Jerrica used to spend some time with her dad. Keep in mind, Kimber is kind of left in the dark about this whole thing, so how come how come there isn't a fire up her butt about this whole, how come Jerrica gets all the attention and Kimber is suddenly left? I'm going to say that for the end, I'm rambling. So they're all at the pier, they find a piece of the robot, put it in, and it gives them a clue to the next thing they have to go to, which is something like the Cool Air Club, or the Hot Air Club, or the Big Air Club, something Air Club. Air as in like airtime or airplay, music. Oh, I forgot. This whole time, Erica has this son. I already forget what his name is. And he is supposedly going to run the company after Erica is through with it. Which, if Erica had her way, would be never. So, as much as he doesn't really want to, he has to follow in her mom's footprints sort of thing. And is monitoring and keeping an eye on the girls this whole time. So when the ladies break curfew, he has to run to the pier and stop them before they make a terrible mistake. They kind of activated a silent alarm that attracts the police because technically they're trespassing on private property. And so Erica's son comes to the rescue and tells him to jump in the lake, ocean, seabed. I don't know. So they all jump in, and I don't know where the robot goes, but somehow it's okay. By the way, the robot is it kind of looks like a miniature BB-8, if you know that Star Wars thing. And it's like two circles and goes... Oh, God, this movie is a mess. So after they all jump in the lake and then have a good sing-along to prove that they can sing to Erica's son, he somehow manages to convince Erica to get them to play at this club where the next piece of the puzzle is. But here comes another MacGuffin. Jerrica's Skyping, or whatever they called it, with her mom back home, and apparently they're having some money troubles. Her mom runs some kind of clothing store or something, I don't really know, they don't really get into it that much, but it sucks. It's not doing very well, there's not a lot of customers, they're losing money, and it turns out they can't pay the mortgage on the house, so they have until the end of the week to pay off the rest. So the concert at the club goes off without a hitch. Big fame, big everything, everybody loves them, it is nuts. Typical pop song number, I can't even remember what they are. Something about young blood. Young blood. And they find yet another piece of the puzzle. What they assumed to be the last piece, honestly, because for the most part it looks like the robot is finished, except there's like this one last little area that's still void of anything, and they don't even know what the next clue could possibly be because it doesn't lead them anywhere. So now that Jerrica knows that their old home is practically going to be going bye-bye, she has to go over to Erica and ask for an advance. Miraculously, Erica's okay with this. A little too okay. But turns out Erica had a mysterious plan all along. She gives Jerrica, or Jem, an ultimatum. Jem has to sign a new contract for a solo career, thereby completely dismissing her friends and leaving them by the wayside in order to get an advance. Of course, Jem kind of thinks about it, rolls around in her mouth, kind of gets to see how it tastes a little bit, and then she signs it because what are you gonna do? Her back was up against the wall. She had practically no choice. It was either do that or foreclose the house and have them all be homeless. including their mom. So she signs it, and then at the next show, Erica and Jem have a little talk about the new solo career. Keep in mind, Jem has had no time to be able to talk to her sisters whatsoever. None. It was just one thing and then another thing. Suddenly, almost as though this were a cartoon, after Erica leaves, the sisters come running in and saying, "You betrayed us!" And Jem is like, "I had no choice. I was going to tell you." And I mean, come on. Did the sisters really think she was never going to tell them and just have them show up and then be turned away? No, because that would be stupid. But sisters will be sisters. And they think that she was only looking out for herself and for the money. So they all turn away, and this is the part of the movie where everybody's sad and everybody kind of shuts down. The lull of the film, the low part, the part where it goes like this and then and it's right there. So everybody's sad, everybody sucks. She goes out and has apparently an amazing solo performance, despite the fact that she just, had a crying fit. And that's another thing. How did she manage to practice for this solo performance that she knew had like all kinds of crazy choreographed dance moves? And Armageddon Time, you're thinking too hard. Right, forgot. So she does the production and it goes off without a hitch. Everybody thinks she's awesome. She goes back over to, I think, the pier and just laments about how crappy everything all of a sudden is. But out of nowhere, her sisters convene and console her broken heart. Because as it turns out, surprise, sisters stay together. And then Erica's son comes out of nowhere and is like, "I'll help you." And I'm like, help what? What? Yeah, I guess through a series of wordplay and some actual thought, Jem figures out what the last piece of the puzzle is. Oh, it's the earrings! And this is where we come to the portion of the movie where we begin the heist. Yeah, it becomes a heist movie. No, really. They gotta sneak into Starlight Records where the earrings are being kept. Make sure that they're not caught by Erica or the guards, and snatch back the earrings. Somehow they find this safe that has Erica's husband's will, because, oh, that's right, he's dead too. Man, this movie really has it out for dads. So they're like, okay, we'll keep the will, too. Then they get the earrings, they get out of there, they almost get caught, they put it in the robot, and then magic. Well, a cool laser light show at least. Jerica and Kimber's dad actually pops up in some kind of cool, like I said before, the like the Star Wars hologram thing. I see what you did there, movie. Jem and the holograms? And he practically gushes to Jerica how awesome she is for figuring out the clues and becoming the woman that she always wanted to be, I guess. One of those schmaltzy, do your best kind of messages that these movies present. I'm not dismissing the message, don't get me wrong. It's just you hear it so many times, it's like, alright, I get it. But it is kind of a touching moment because at one point, young Jerica comes in and like hugs her dad. And it's kind of weird because she says, "I love you" in the holographic projection. And then the real Jerica, the older Jerica, says, "I love you" as well. It's kind of a neat moment. The movie's got to have some cool parts. So that's pretty much it. No cool earring powers. No cool transformations. Just a robot dad that says, "I love you." Alright, that is a little cool. So, there's the final show that would net them the money. And Jem and her sisters all show up. Even though it was supposed to be the first big solo show. That other one was, I don't know, kind of a teaser, I guess. And Erica will just not have this. This is supposed to be Jem's time, not these other little gnats. Just gotta dust off my shoulders, excuse me. But here comes Erica's son to save the day. He says that apparently in the will, it says that he can take over the company once he feels he's ready. And that's all it takes. But he would need a copy of the will in order to justify his reasoning. Erica says, "Well, I'm the only one that has a copy of the will." And then her son kind of shakes it in her face like, "No, you don't. Somebody's more clever." So he takes over the company, hires Jem and her sisters as a unit, and kicks his own mom to the curb. Boom. So she leaves in a fury, and Jem and her sisters get on stage to have an awesome kick-ass concert. There's cool laser lights everywhere. It's a catchy tune. Everybody's dancing, having a good time. And all people around the world, in kind of a webcam, looks pretty much like this, shot for shot, proclaiming their love for Jem and what she represents. Oh, that's right. Just before the concert, Jem was actually going to reveal who she and her sisters really were. I don't mean the persona of Jem. I mean actually pull back the curtain and say, "Hey, I'm Jerica. These be my sisters." But as she was thinking about it, she realized that Jem could be anybody. Anybody could put on the makeup. Anybody could be the persona of who they really truly desire, and decided against revealing her true self. Telling people everywhere to never be yourself. Just be some fake persona on the internet. Because that's all anybody will ever care about. I'm just kidding. Sorry to go all gloom and doom on you. That's actually a pretty safe message to tell people. But anyway, concert was awesome. Cut to credits. It's a very short credit scene, practically just naming off the band. By the way, Erica's son there decides to come up with the name The Holograms. I don't know, he's been seeing a lot of weird holographic craziness from that robot lately. So, why not? But if you think about it, doesn't the name still sound kind of 80s? I mean, yeah, we got holograms now that are technically actual holograms, but it just doesn't work as a name these days. But hey, I don't run Starlight Records. And if I did, I'd rule it with an iron fist. One more thing before the credits. As they're going around doing that whole webcam-y thingamabob, they actually stop on Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. I'm not lying, it's really him. And he says that the band should cut a song for him, like that Youngblood song, except maybe they call it Badass Bloods. No, wait, that sounds like something you don't want. That last bit I said was everything he really said. I was quite glad to see The Rock in this movie. It really just, whenever you see The Rock in anything, it just makes you happier. So there's the little bit of credits. Post-mini credit sequence. We arrive at this dingy, dark, grody-looking soundstage. And here comes Erica. Down in the dumps. No place left to go. And looking for vengeance. In come these ragtag group of ladies who look a little more rough around the edges than our holograms do. Believe it or not, they quote the song at the beginning of the cartoon and say, "Our songs are better, and we're gonna get her." Pan back to reveal the Misfits. Cut to regular credits. End of movie. Oh my god, I don't even know where to begin with this. This movie is clearly out of its time. This movie probably should have been made around the time that Jem and the Holograms was popular in the mid-80s, not 2015. But boy, can you see the 2015 influence. Everything is internet, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all named. Her video goes viral on the internet. She becomes internet famous. All these little pop-ups are from people talking in a webcam to the internet. This movie was not made for my generation, even though the source material does come from my generation. I guess it's because G.I. Joe is kind of popular with the movies, and Transformers is now a movie juggernaut thanks to Michael Bay. Hasbro's like, what else we got? This is a movie that I thought would never be made, which is why I went and saw it. And I still can't believe that I watched it. It blows my hair back. It's a hot mess. It's a music movie that's not quite a musical. It has robots with holograms in it, and they're searching for pieces, so it's a treasure hunt. They're running from the cops a little bit, so it's kind of an adventure movie. There's a heist. There's a big musical thing at the end. Everybody's dad is dead. And then the Misfits for less than 5 minutes. I didn't actually come to see the Misfits in the movie, but they were kind of an integral part to the whole Jem and the Holograms mythos. Alright, I'm not that familiar with the source material. I've only ever seen a couple episodes, and that was just out of bizarre curiosity. But I do remember something about synergy. That was the name of the robot. Well, it was really 51N3RGY. So when you look at it, it says Synergy. This movie could not decide what it was, but perhaps that's actually what people want these days. Maybe this next generation wants a little bit of everything in their movie. And here I am, a 33-year-old guy, going to see a G-rated movie about a bunch of female pop stars. This is clearly not my movie. But you know what? I knew that going into this. So it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Yeah, I didn't really like it. It didn't speak to me on some level. Okay, so maybe there was some musical stuff that I could appreciate, but all the very fast cuts and, early 20-somethings of most of the characters kind of puts me out of my own element, The message was good. I appreciate the message. Albeit it still felt hollow because this was a very paint-by-numbers script. But even then, the numbers wouldn't mash up, and some of them were like upside down and turned around, and some of them were in Greek, because this movie was just a hodgepodge of nonsense. Did you hear the weird stuff that was going on? And then the will comes out of nowhere, and then so the sun takes over in like a less than 5-minute spot. It's exhausting to even think about. So maybe the idea is to not think about it and just appreciate it for what it was. A piece of crap! But keep in mind, I'm definitely not the guy to ask about this sort of thing. I'm just doing this review on a whim because I cannot believe this movie was actually made. So I hope you enjoyed my review of Gem and the Holograms 2015. Should I give it a rating? Alright, something out of 10. I'll give this a 6 out of 10. Why not a 10? The source material just has nothing to do with me or my interests whatsoever. The movie style was very jarring and the genre is confusing. Why not a 1? They surprisingly reference the cartoon a bunch of times with some of the lyrics, but through other means. There's a good and safe message that can be told to practically anybody. Be yourself. Kind of. Be who you want to be. And the acting wasn't all that abysmal, I guess, for this kind of movie. So on that note, this is Armageddon Time. Not wearing a hat anymore. And I will see you guys next time. Also, there was 100% more gratuitous male body flaunting than female.